So if you have a listing right now, let me just do one of our listings right now, homes for sale. And you take the MLS description. Oh, we sold it. Okay, so you take the MLS description, you can plop the MLS description right here and describe your song, and it'll create a song about your listing. Okay, and you can use that song in your property video. Okay, or you can play it at your open house. Okay, all right. Let's use AI in a different way right now. And then Joe, I'm gonna hand it over to you later to talk about projects, okay?
Yep.
Have you guys ever wanted to make either a website or maybe a slide deck for your listing presentation, right? This one has impressed my sellers a lot. Is the two here is Gamma. Okay. Joe, have you been using Gamma?
Yep.
Right. So here's Gamma. So Gamma takes your notes and turns it into slides. So every presentation that I do, like there's one class I taught double your production. I just send in my notes and it will turn it into a presentation for you. Like meet Kirby Chan, today's mission, okay? So it'll do all the photos, it'll separate everything into points, okay? So keep this one, okay? Gamma.app. This was introduced to me by Glenn, okay? Glenn's like, you got to use Gamma, okay? So I'm like, okay, I'll use Gamma. And then second, do you want to say something about Gamma?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you guys, if you've been on the Grow Your RevShar ones, like you've seen Gamma presentations because that's what I put everything into. The other great thing, especially for team leads or people that are trying to scale up to having a team, is this is great for SOPs because a lot of times people need something that is more than just a text document. They react and learn and will go back to something that is more visually oriented and visually interesting. So that's where, again, it's been a game changer in being able to put them directly into it and having them basically be beautified, making where it's more interesting, making it where people actually go back and refer to it. Because when it's just a big, huge text document with like bullets and not much flavor,
Yeah.
people don't get enthusiastic about going back and looking at them.
And you know how you go to a lot of classes and let's say you went to a class, a webinar, and you have an AI note taker, Otter and all that. That's very popular these days, right? You can actually take the notes from those meetings, even this one here, and you can plop it in Gamma and it'll create a slideshow for you for that class you took from the script that person was talking about, okay? So first was Gamma. Then Glenn told me, hey, Kirby, you should use Lovable. It's like a next generation, next step up. Okay, here. Okay, this is Lovable. Lovable.dev. Okay, I'm gonna put in this is a game changer for us. I'll pick up my son. Lovable.dev. Have you been using this one, Joe?
Yeah, so this came on my radar a couple months ago, and then when we went to one of the leadership meetings in Dallas, they did an entire presentation on it. And where I'd been dabbling before, now it's where I've kind of like really completely leaned in because you can literally say like, hey, I like this site or I like this, and it'll be like, oh, okay, I can create something similar to that. And you don't have to learn code. You don't have to learn like a weird system of like building things. It is honestly what I think is going to push forward for all listings because I think instead of just getting one of those kind of generic, simple sites, it's going to be where you can make an entire storyline sites. You can use B-roll from the video generation in conjunction with some of the, video you get of the property where it's going to be more of like a complete experience. And I think the agents that push forward into doing that are going to really just level up in terms of like how much their conversion goes up on listing appointments, how many times they beat out their competitors, and how many times they can, you know, demand a higher rate just based on what the perception of value that seller has for being able to have something like this, to have something custom, to have something that stands out far and above the rest. And from a marketing standpoint, if you run an ad against one of those kind of like generic old landing pages, people see it and then they bounce. Whereas here you can create things that instantly engage and bring people in and don't look like something that was just kind of whipped up.
Yeah, so imagine then what Joe said is that you go to a listing appointment and you already made the website for that property. A lot of sellers pick an agent that's done a lot of work for them already. And if you can show them you can do the things like this, it's amazing. So this is how we built this website here. It takes about half an hour. And the prompt I did, so the prompts is the key. The better your prompt, the better your output. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you an example. Okay, so this was a okay, so it's a pretty long prompt. Okay, see that? Very detailed. Agent testimonials. So basically, I sat down and I went to a website that I liked and I copied that website in words, like what I want there. I want a footer. I want the what you get. Okay, so I wrote all this down and then it says, I love this concept and it builds it, right? And then after that, I said, well, there's some, mistakes. Okay. There's some mistakes. So I ask it to change the mistakes. Okay. Anyway, so let's keep going here. We're here. Update it all, especially a team leader getting 300. So I'm updating each section. So here on the right-hand side, it'll give you the output. So it's kind of like ChatGPT, right? But this is building your website. So I'm going to look for any mistakes here. Oh, you see this one here? That's a mistake. You can't even see join an info session at the bottom here. So all I have to do is go to the bottom and I'm going to write in over here. Oh, ask lovable. Okay, I'm going to say join an info session. At the bottom, there is a button for join an info session. The text is white on a white box. Change it to a black text on white box. Blue. Okay, just like the other one. So if I do that, it's going to think my super base is not. Okay. Okay, I'll fix that in a second when Joe goes on. I'll show you guys later. But what it does, it use words to change it. Okay, I got to update my super base and then I'll do it again. Okay. So this whole website's built on prompts, words. And if you want a photo, then you would put in a plus button here at the bottom and you add a photo and you can say, add this photo in. So pretend that this is your website designer on this side and you're giving it instructions, but instead of waiting for a week for the website designer to give you a proof for the website, this does it in about 10 seconds. Okay. And get this, guys, it's free right now. Okay. This whole thing's free. It'll allow you 5 changes a day, 5 prompts a day here. And then when you go up to publish, okay, you can publish your product and then it'll give you a website, but it's going to be a .lovable.app, which is fine for now. You can still use this website as a single property website or a landing page. Okay. And then if
And
you
it's actually great, kind of like Kirby was talking about before, where you're not having to like, if you're just going to a listing appointment, necessarily buy a domain, spend money on a maybe. You tell them, hey, this will be updated once we sign our agreement. You'll have a custom web domain and things like that.
yeah, there we go. Send that in. Okay, still an error. Okay. Okay, so last thing with the team, with this one here on Lovable is there's an agent mode. I don't know, Joey, if you saw this one. This was released like a couple of days ago. So agent mode is actually going to be an agent now that helps you design a website for you. So no longer do you have to give these specific instructions. You can ask it to design a agent website for me, or design a website for me as a real estate agent in Dallas, and it will start doing it for you. So no, what it's supposed to do is, instead of me giving those exact instructions like you saw earlier, you can give it very loose instructions, and it's going to have a brain. It's going to design an amazing website for you. Okay. And if you see, like on this side, after a couple of minutes, a chatbot will show up, right? So the chat assistant here. Okay, so this thing here is also pre-programmed inside this whole platform. So anything you can think of on a website, you can design now. So all I said was create a chatbot for me. Okay. And then it's going to say, okay, what do you want the chatbot to say? Okay. So you can pre-program everything. So you don't need to know any code to build any website anymore.